Well, we're on. Technically, we're recording.
No theme song?
Oh, yeah. Yo, 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 yo. We got a big old joint. We taking a hit.
The thing's massive.
We got a giant. You should see all the pillows, the giant pillows we got for the party. We're like, oh, I mean, I was like really stoned late one night, and I was like, oh, we need like props to like take pictures at the Hemp Mansion dinner party, April 30th at Brandon, Florida. So we got all these. If you're a patron, you're watching the video, we got all kinds of silly little pillows of nugs and giant ass joint. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Pot Smoking Moms podcast. I'm your favorite host, Sunny D, along with my other favorite host, Captain J.
Hello, everybody.
We're glad you can make it. This is a podcast about our favorite things. And hey, if you like us, subscribe, rate, review, send us to your friend. Send this podcast to the friends. PotSmokingMoms.com is a website. Got to tell you about that website. Go there. Everything's there. I'm really psyched to smoke. So if you have something to smoke, what do you got, Jay?
Banana Punch from True Leaf.
And I got sugar cookies from True Leaf. Ching, ching. Ooh. That's pretty fruity.
Tastes sweet.
Yeah, I like it.
Sugar cookie.
Sugar cookie.
Ooh.
Really?
I can never clear that thing in one.
Yeah, me too. We got a nice interview coming up for you today. We speak with Jennifer Boyce. She is part of Cannawise. She's an education and training manager, and we had a little conversation with her. Very, very educated.
Very informative, yeah. She had a lot of knowledge.
She's got a lot of knowledge.
A lot of knowledge.
Stick around for that interview a little bit later on in the show. We're really excited for this weekend.
It's this weekend, guys. It's finally here.
It's finally here. We're going to be having our dinner at the Hemp Mansion.
So you don't have to hear us keep talking about, it at the beginning of our episode.
Look, I am not going. Can we fast forward through this part?
Stop mentioning that thing I'm not going to.
420 Festival also at Haran Park, April 30th with the center. So
looking forward to that as well.
That's going to be really fun. Check it out. Information's on our website and our Instagram. If you need tickets, we only got 5 left. So whatever.
And we're so ready.
We got a raffle too. We got a G-Pen Elite Vaporizer, and we got the German shot glass from Glass Warehouse. So that's going to be fun.
And, a couple extra little things like mouthpieces will also raffle out.
Yeah, we got a couple extra little gifties for y'all.
And then the goodie bags are going to have some goodies.
Yeah, we got
home too.
Lots of goodies in the goodie bag. So that's going to be real fun. Get ready to be sick of us posting of that shit.
Should we live stream it?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
I've been seeing that a lot lately on lives on TikTok. When I'm scrolling. It's just like somebody, like a party just posts.
Just happening.
Yeah, and they just put
we could, but I'm going to be busy having fun, so.
Well, nobody's going to be, that's the thing. They would just be watching what's happening.
Right.
Nobody's interacting with the live feed. It would just be like a live feed of it.
Probably. Remember we did live on TikTok from medieval times, and everybody was like, nobody was there. Maybe 2, maybe
it was like 1 or 2 people.
Maybe you have to have a video on the For You page too. I don't know. Anyways, fucking TikTok. 420 How was your? Well, we have spent 420 together.
I was
How was your
working.
420?
I remember back in the days when I used to take 420 off of work,
right?
And
when
spend the whole day
young
getting
and
lit.
vibrant, and full of life, and we would just hang out, watch movies, chill.
I was working all day, and it was a busy day too. So a busy work day. But so that just made it all the sweeter once I was done working.
I know,
really,
and then we got
partake.
to test the Stundenglas.
That was
the
hilarious.
Stundenglas. That was, we weren't expecting.
We put it together and tried it for the first time while doing our High Curious live stream for the 420.
Yeah, Lauren and Miss Crystal had to get on there and be like, "Hey, you need some help?" And we're like, "Yeah." Well, they're like, "We thought you got this," and we're like, "No, we don't got this." So they saved the day, and then we got Wicked Stones.
Oh my god, that thing! I can't handle it.
It packs a punch.
Yeah,
you gotta be ready for it. You gotta be ready for it. But that's fun. I mean, look, 420 is different for everybody, right? I mean, 420 is every day.
Yeah, basically.
You know, like whatever. It's just
we
wear the little party hat.
420, you usually like go a little harder or something.
I know.
Like,
you know,
like I used to take the day off to be able to smoke literally all day and just chill or go to the beach or something like that.
Growing up,
turning 40.
You know. Oh, it was my birthday.
Yeah, it was your birthday.
Right? Did we not? We didn't talk about that?
You talked about going to Butterfly World, girl.
Oh, we did. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. It's my birthday the whole month. I was
like,
I got my True Leave discount.
At the dinner party.
I was like, 25% off on your birthday? Well, lucky me. It's my birthday.
You gotta go you gotta take advantage of that birthday discount everywhere.
Yeah, 25% off. And then, oh my God, we should have gotten Anthony's coal fire. I should get it tonight. I got a free pizza. I got a reminder email, and I'm like, what? I didn't get the first email.
I'm really bad at cashing those things in for my birthday month. I forget. And
yeah, well, I'm not too bad. I'll cash in on one. I'll cash in on something.
I missed my free little nothing bunk cake.
Oh, you're right. Is it for the month of your birthday? Because I will dead ass go over there and get mine. Week. Oh.
You should
Those
check.
Are so good.
Are you signed up for it? You have to be like a thing, a member thing.
Okay. I actually did you send it to me? A TikTok popped up and it was like, here's all the things you can get free on your birthday. And she had a list of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do.
Yeah. Well, I just remembered about that. Anthony's coal fired. I'm gonna get later. Oh my God, you were talking about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It's everywhere.
It's like all over my TikTok feed, and I had no idea about this drama. I had heard in the past of him being accused of being abusive to her, that she was accusing him, and I never believed that. I was surprised when I heard that about him. But I never pry into celebrity things, so I never notice that story. But now with this trial going on...
Again, I'm going to say that's weird because you love TV reality shows and I don't, but I love prying into some celebrity people's lives because I mean, I didn't follow this like closely, but it's been a really messy ordeal for years.
He lost a lot of work because of the accusations against him. Like, they fired him as Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts franchise from Harry Potter.
And then hello, his huge, Pirates of the Caribbean. That's huge.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
it's been very tumultuous. It's been very, and
I had no idea he was married for like 25 years and then left his wife and was with her. Like I had no idea.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, like they met on the set of Rum Diaries.
I know that.
And not long after that, they both left their significant others.
And he had been married with his wife for 25 years prior to leaving her for this trash bag.
Like together for like 20 years, 25 years or something.
Well, oh my God.
And she defended him when Amanda Heard started saying these things about him.
Amber Heard. His ex-wife was defending Johnny Depp.
She defended him. She's like, he's never been violent. He's always been a kind-hearted, sweet person.
And what about anybody bringing Amber Heard's ex from any other past?
Right? That's what I've been wondering. Is like, she's had to have done this crazy shit to other people.
Listen, and I don't want to I don't want to take sides or anything, even though I love Johnny Depp.
I mean, we all did. We grew up loving Johnny Depp.
I love Johnny Depp.
Crybaby.
Oh, Crybaby! I had to have a T-shirt with his face on it.
Crybaby.
Yeah,
that was the first movie that I was like, ooh.
Oh, I know. Yeah, for sure.
Who's that?
And Edward Scissorhands.
Even as Edward Scissorhands, he was hot.
Yeah. That's why I like Jack White, because Jack White's kind of like Edward Scissorhands, but like he plays guitar instead of cuts hair. If that makes any sense. Plays all the instruments.
Guitar.
Yeah, he shreds the guitar. Exactly. He got married. He got married recently.
Jack White?
Yes.
To
some chick who's very cute and looks very perfect for him. But still, I was like, oh my God. Even though I'm happily
you're married and you have no chance.
I would have the cutest babies with Jack White. But he got married. They look really cute. Good for him. But yeah, Johnny Depp.
No, but the Johnny Depp, I had no idea about any of this drama.
Oh my God.
And then I'm getting these TikToks out of nowhere.
Oh, really?
Following the trial, because apparently they're live streaming the trial.
Yeah, I've seen the live stream come up a couple times.
Yeah, and I'll when I'm flipping through TikTok, people will be live streaming the live stream of the trial,
right.
Or just they shared clips from it and stuff. And it's intense.
It's really messy. I saw there's an article that way showed all his when he was at his low and he had bags like this of weed, bags like this. And
when you're at your low, you need some weed.
But at the same time, I was like, it's Johnny Depp. Of course. And that's the thing. He's into drugs. We all are, but he's Johnny Depp. He's fucking rock star.
Mm-hmm. He's a rock star actor.
So, but there was a picture of him all fucked up, asleep with the ice cream melting. I know.
And he said how she staged that. She gave it to him. This is what he said, is that she gave it to him as she saw that he was starting to fall asleep.
But why would you even take a picture of that?
Because she's trying to make him look bad.
Yeah, she's very Gone Girl. Have you ever seen Gone Girl?
No, I haven't seen it.
She's very
they say, so you're saying, because he's she made that happen, she staged it and then she took the picture, and they're like, oh, so you're saying it's her fault that this happened, that this picture occurred or whatever? And he's like, she snapped it. It's yeah, duh.
So what? She stuck the ice cream in his hand while he was falling asleep?
She was just here, hold the ice cream. He wasn't eating that ice cream. It wasn't his ice cream. Oh. He said that she asked him to hold it as he was already starting to nod off on the couch, and so that scenario could happen and she could take that picture and have that opportunity. And he's like, I was exhausted after 17 hours of working, because he was working on a movie. And he's like, and he straight up said, and all the opiates I had ingested, because he was abusing drugs, because he was being abused by his wife. He was miserable.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then the whole her dressing up like him, I was like, is this
for
you
real? Were telling me that, and I wasn't so.
I saw a TikTok of it, and it shows shots. Okay, he came into trial into the one day in a gray suit. She came the next day or the day after or whatever, within the I don't know if it was the very next day or whatever, but she comes in with also a gray suit. There's another time that he had the Louis Vuitton bumblebee on a tie. That's so specific. Mm-hmm. And then she came in after the same way. She's mimicking what he's wearing.
What?
It's weird.
That's
And I'm like, what? She's trying to fuck with him? Fuck with his head? Doesn't the jury notice those things? That's dumb of her to be doing that. And I was like, is this real? Because this is a TikTok that I saw. I was like, is this real?
Yeah.
How is this? But you see it in they're in the court dress.
Yeah, there. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
And I saw a news, one of those e-news, whatever kind of things, reporting on it too. A clip from them reporting on it, what's happening there.
Oh man. Anyways, we'll keep it.
Do you think he's gonna get a lot of jobs back? Another TikTok I keep saying, the only brand that's stuck by Johnny Depp is Dior.
Is that his cologne?
Yeah, he does the cologne.
I honestly
commercial.
It's so messy. It's terrible. It's just the whole Will Smith thing, because that's gonna be forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah,
but that is going to affect his career for sure. Not so much maybe hers, which is unfortunate because we've heard plenty about her.
Yeah, I didn't even know who Amber Heard is. Like, she's
like a
I didn't even
B-list
remember her. I saw the Rum Diaries because I wanted to see Johnny Depp.
Yeah, right, but not because you knew who Amber Heard was.
I was like, oh, that's the actress
not
they picked
yeah,
to be his love interest.
I hadn't heard about Amber Heard before.
Never heard of the bitch.
Yeah. And quite frankly, could have done without having to hear about her, but here we are. Well, anyways, we'll probably keep
see what happens with
digesting that.
Let us know your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I know. Tell us.
Share what you've seen about it.
I have a sty in my eye.
Did you deny a pregnant woman food?
That's what my husband asked me.
That's a thing.
He's like, have you been talking shit about pregnant women? And I'm like, no, I love pregnant women and pregnant women love me. I'm like, I advocate for pregnant women. What are you talking about?
Maybe you were mean to somebody that you didn't know was pregnant.
Oh, I don't know. I try not to interact with too many people. And if I do interact with people, it's because they interacted with me. So, but I don't know. I get styes real easily. I rub my eyes a lot.
You got to wash your hands more.
I know.
And don't touch your eyes.
I feel so crappy. I was using it as an example to my daughter. I was like, see
what happens?
Look, I look like Quasimodo. See? Because I didn't wash my hands and I was rubbing my face. I hate it. I get them often and I feel super stupid when I have them. But hopefully it'll go away by next week because I want to look fabulous. Y'all need to come with your A game. If you come into this dinner, you better not show up in no Beavis and Butthead t-shirt, okay? Because that's not going to happen. I mean, unless it's a really cool Beavis and Butthead. I mean, we're not going to tell you no.
Yeah, we're not going to turn anybody.
But if you come in to the nines.
I still don't even know what I'm going to wear.
Oh,
I was just going to
I'm on a mission. I got a couple
You have a
selections. See, I got some hair extensions coming. Let's see if they look decent. I don't know. My hair's in a weird stage, so I have to
You're growing it out?
I'm growing it out. I don't want to cut it anymore. So it's gonna kind of go through some weird mullety stage because the back kind of flips up a little bit. So, but I want to ultimately let it fill in and then do a bob with it. Mm-hmm. But it's weird. I don't know what to do, you know? And
you just gotta wait it out. You gotta let it grow.
I'm not patient, so
I know.
I hope.
That's why you waited this long to let it grow out. Because you've been talking about doing it, but you're like, I hate that awkward, weird.
I know. And then it's and then I gotta cut it. Anyways, it's growing. We'll see. What's up with you? Nothing?
Nothing, bro.
No, we got a whole lot of...
Everything's about the dinner.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of scoops, skis, potatoes. in the meantime... bringing you the dankiest news from our home office
in Hialeah, reporting live from Hialeah News Nugs, where we get high and read the weed news to you. And today's News Nug story is actually from Florida.
Oh,
it's kind of like I Love You Miami fall bleeding into News Nugs.
Oh.
So the story is Florida's top Democrat suing Biden administration over rule barring medical cannabis users from buying guns. Huh. This is dumb. In
what way?
If you have your cannabis license, as a patient, you can't get a concealed weapons permit, I believe.
Really?
That's what they're trying to do.
You can't have a gun if you have your weed card?
That's what they're trying to do. Yeah. Mm. And you haven't, people always ask about that. There's a lot of people that's why they won't get their card.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I'm pretty sure there's people that we talk to.
Exactly.
Here.
So the highest ranking Democrat in Florida is taking on the leader of her party and the country over weed and guns. Nikki Fried. Is it Fried or Fried?
I think it's Fried.
Fried, right? The state's agriculture commissioner and Democratic candidate for governor plans to sue the Biden administration Wednesday to block to try to block a federal rule that prohibits medical marijuana users from buying guns. Oh, straight up buying guns, not just your license.
Wow.
Damn. Or maintaining concealed carry permits, according to NBC News, which obtained a copy of Freed's lawsuit. She said, I'm suing the Biden administration because people's rights are being limited. Medical marijuana is legal. Guns are legal. She said on a tweet Wednesday morning. This is about people's rights and their freedoms to responsibly have both. The 420 announcement of Freed's lawsuit against the Biden administration was not a coincidence, by the way.
Everybody uses that date like to tie in, anything weed related. NBC reported that the lawsuit targets a federal form that asks whether the gun buyer is an unlawful user of drugs and specifies that marijuana is illegal under federal law. Prospective customers who check yes are denied, and those who lie run the risk of a 5-year prison sentence for making a false statement.
What?
According to
5
NBC News.
years?
The lawsuit from Freed, who's currently the only Florida Democrat holding a statewide office, will have a major bearing on her own jurisdiction, where medical cannabis has been legal since voters there passed an initiative in 2016 and where gun ownership is ubiquitous. But it could also set a precedent for the dozens of other states where medical cannabis is legal.
Freed is a longtime champion of cannabis reform. I've always been pro-cannabis, but didn't really understand the movement early on, she told High Times in an interview last year, saying that her passion was sparked as a student at the University of Florida. She won her race for agriculture commissioner in 2018 on a platform dedicated to changing Florida's cannabis laws.
I voted for her.
Me too. At the time, we weren't talking legalization. We were trying to still get medical, but they knew that I was in favor of legalization when the time was right for Florida, Freed told High Times.
Freed has ramped up her legalization push in her gubernatorial campaign, which she launched last year. She's running for the Democratic nomination against Charlie Crist, a former Republican governor turned Democratic congressman. I'm not a fan of his. Both candidates have pledged to legalize cannabis for adults if elected, but Freed has called out Crist on GOP past, saying in October that people have been imprisoned and Crist and other Republicans supported and enforced racist marijuana crime bills. Freed and Crist are vying for the chance to take on Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, a potential 2024 presidential candidate, who has said that recreational cannabis will not be legalized while he's in office.
Fuck you!
Not while I'm governor. DeSantis said in 2019, just like that too. I mean, look, when that is introduced with teenagers and young people, I think a really detrimental effect to their well-being in their maturity. Polls show that both Democrats are long shots against the incumbent.
God, I can't stand him. Ron DeSantis is motivated by money, Freed told High Times last year in explaining the governor's opposition to cannabis reform. I think his motivation is more his ability to raise money. As NBC News explained, the lawsuit is laden with political opportunity for Freed, who became the only Democrat elected statewide in 2018 when she ran on an unabashedly pro-cannabis platform, with polls repeatedly showing that a majority of Floridians, like the rest of the country, support legalizing pot. Duh. According to NBC, Freed is bringing the suit with 3 citizens who have been affected by the federal rules, and the suit names the acting head of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, and Attorney General Merrick Garland as defendants. Who are the 3 citizens? I want to know.
Well, we'll keep you up to date on that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. We kind of heard about that before that happened.
Yeah.
But we knew, people had mentioned it to us, but I didn't know outright that was it, that was where it was going.
I straight up asked her. I was like, oh, is this the whole thing that they're trying to stop? And she's like, yeah.
No, but I mean, like, some people have brought it up to us in the past of like, oh, I don't know that I'll get my medical card.
Yeah,
because
it used
of that.
to not be a problem before.
But, right, and I was like, I was like, is that a thing? So I guess so now it's trying to become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. I understand why.
Or it's become a thing and they're trying to like stop it or
I really don't.
It.
I hate when there are negative stories of some shit going down and they always like bring up the marijuana thing. You know?
But I could have sworn that there's been countless studies on areas that have legalized recreational pot of actual consumption going down in the youth, not up.
Well, right, but I mean, I'm talking about with the weed gun thing.
Oh no, yeah, I was just saying because Ron DeSantis said it's not going to ever happen while he's governor. He's not going to let it become legal here.
Yeah, well, but he's not for it. I mean, period. Well,
but I could have sworn he allowed smokable flower. So that's where I'm confused.
Yeah, I thought he kind of was like cool with it, like.
I mean, because we didn't have smokable flower, and then like, I'm pretty sure he was like okay with that when they presented it.
Maybe everybody else was okay with it. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not.
No, I could. Yeah, I remember thinking, oh well, okay, at least he's allowing smokable flower. That's cool. I remember thinking that when it happened.
Yeah, we agreed with him on something. That's what we agreed with him.
That and the financial literacy courses.
He's not always bad.
But now he's saying no.
Okay. Well, this next story for... I love you, Miami! This is crazy. We were talking about this week. Florida bride caterer accused of serving marijuana-laced food at wedding.
Dude, yeah.
That's super local.
One of our patrons shared it in our chat, and I was like, what? And that happened here. We have a clip from a news story.
Yeah, so we'll play the clip. It's kind of long, but...
It's 3 minutes.
Yeah, hang in there.
But it's good. It's good information.
Good. This February wedding in Florida went from this to this.
We're just at the wedding. Me and my girlfriend were talking, and I feel like there's some kind of drugs in me or something, and I don't know what's happening.
Sounds like a pussy-ass bitch. Is what he sounds like.
By Top Story, showing a guest being wheeled out of the event on a stretcher.
We all have been affected somehow by what was put in the food.
The Seminole County Sheriff's Department now saying the bride, Danya Glennie, was behind it. Police confronted her and the groom that night.
Bride and groom?
Yes.
You're bride and groom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
We should add that she is smirking heavily.
Your food had cannabis inside of it.
The bride is in the background, and her smirk, she looks like she is up to no good.
I just need a yes or no, ma'am. Did you guys authorize it for the catering company?
She shakes her head no.
To have cannabis placed in the food, edibles, whatever the case may be?
No, sir.
Okay. I just need both of your IDs.
The 42-year-old bride is now facing felony charges for allegedly lacing the food at her wedding with marijuana.
You guys with catering?
Yeah, we're just putting stuff away.
Yeah, don't put anything away yet.
Police collected food on scene to test.
Might be transporting a couple more people to the hospital because of this.
Oh my.
According to the incident report from police, the evidence collected included chocolate-covered strawberries and pudding shots.
Ooh.
Of the 30 to 40 attendants, several reported feeling ill to police.
Sounds like
Miranda
a lit party.
Katie telling our affiliate West she was there, the bride, a friend of hers.
My heart was racing.
Katie says another guest at her table suspected it.
He's like, are we stoned right now? And everyone's just kind of looking around each other laughing, and we absolutely
Are we puss-ass bitches right now?
All of us out of our minds.
The bride's caterer, Joycelyn Bryant, also arrested and facing the charges of reckless tampering, culpable negligence, and delivery of marijuana.
Oh my
Police telling us the investigation is still ongoing. We reached out to both women and the groom for comment and did not immediately hear back.
I think people just want an explanation. So many of my friends who wouldn't want me speaking with you, but I think it's so important that people stand up for what's right. And, you have to respect other people's free will and boundaries and option to have a choice in something like that.
She's not wrong.
All right, Issa Gutierrez joins us now live on set. So he said clearly the guest didn't think this was fun or funny at all. And now both the bride and the caterer could be facing criminal charges?
That's right. They are facing a first-degree felony charge there among those charges. Reckless tampering. In the state of Florida, if they are convicted, they could face up to 30 years in prison for that. There's no mandatory minimum, but they could face all those years. And I do want to also mention, Tom, that in that body camera video that we showed you, there's a moment where the police are explaining to the bride and the groom that it's one thing if the guests had brought their own marijuana or edibles to the event. It's a completely different situation if there was marijuana put in that food without them knowing.
That's messed up.
This area.
That's crazy. We have plenty to say about this.
Like, who would think of, like, think about all the
doing
people
it
that come
without
to your
telling
wedding.
people?
But think about all the people that come to your wedding.
Yeah, I wouldn't want
Your
to fucking
family,
give them shit.
The groom's
Just
family.
just
all
my
your
friends.
Like, you really, like, drugged all these people without telling them. I hope they didn't have any kids at that wedding. I hope it was like a no kid wedding.
I'm sure. Well, they didn't say anything about kids, but
yeah, they would have said something.
Like, I get having a lit party, but like letting people know,
you gotta let them know.
Hey,
you gotta have the option.
Yeah, like here's the lit cake and here's the Publix cake. Like, pick which one you want.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just the cake or if it was in the food.
Well, right. They show the report. There are several different foods that were listed, and all of the stuff that was listed,
but those are just
strawberries and the pudding shots.
But those are just things they took to test. They don't know for sure.
But they didn't say if it came back with...
No, I mean, it was just the reporting at the seizure. They don't know there. They have to go take it for testing and all that.
Yeah.
But the poor caterer, I mean, did the caterer not know?
Right, and how fucked up was that? If she hired a caterer to make edibles and the caterer made edibles to give to unsuspecting people, and now she has to fucking...
face criminal charges?
Yeah, that's not her fault.
No.
If this bitch ordered it and didn't tell her guests, that's on her. That's the bride.
Yeah, that's crazy. So High Times also, that was an NBC clip that we
No,
played.
and on top of that, her friends...
Yeah.
Like,
they're
look,
like, oh, are we high? Are we stoned right now?
Like,
we're all high as a kite.
Yeah, like you said, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong, but
because
don't boundaries,
like, right? Like, let people have the option of doing it or not doing it.
Tell your friend, don't tell.
But
the
like,
news.
yo, for real, they're blowing up the spot like that.
She's trying to get on TV. So High Times covered the story also, and they said. You start.
I don't even want to read the beginning because they tried to be funny here. You know how I feel about funny reporting when it's not, it's like, you know. Alanis Morissette never sang about weed on a wedding day. Why did she? Alanis Morissette
what does that have to do?
Because
she.
It's like
rain.
Yeah.
On your wedding.
I mean, that's why I'm like, they're really reaching here for this work. But for one Florida bride and caterer, there was some good advice that they just didn't take. Here's your story via CNN and various other media reports. 42-year-old bride Dana
42-year-old woman should know better.
Oh, and 31-year-old caterer Jocelyn have been charged with culpable negligence and delivery of marijuana and violating Florida Anti-Tampering Act, stemming from a February wedding in Longwood, Florida that turned into a serious buzzkill. Come on. The affidavit says that the bride agreed to and allowed Jocelyn to lace the food she served with cannabis, unbeknownst to the attendees, many of whom became very ill and required medical attention. Deputies have arrived at Community Clubhouse in Longwood that night to find several guests receiving medical attention.
For some, the evening was anything but enchanting. CNN detailing the affidavit reported that one woman who attended the wedding told an investigator that while she was at the hospital, she felt paranoid and believed her husband wasn't telling her the truth about other family members and that her son-in-law had died and no one was telling her. Wow, she got major paranoia. She also said she became loud and unruly in the emergency room and had to be given medication to calm down. She's one of those that like gets really anxious paranoia, and it was probably too much. Maybe that. Think about dosing is very complicated, and if you're not a consumer, you don't normally consume cannabis. Wow. Investigators and the wedding guests themselves have apparently been unable to get straight answers from the bride and groom. CNN says that when a deputy asked Dana and her husband, Andrew, if they had requested or consented to the food containing cannabis, Andrew stared at the deputy with a blank expression for a few moments before stuttering through a no.
One guest apparently told investigators that after she realized she was high, she asked Boda if she had put marijuana in olive oil. CNN reported, to which Boda answered yes and acted excited. I mean, in the video, she looked like she was like...
She was smirking. She was like...
Yeah, she was like, oh, did I do what? No. Like, it was like, yeah. But another guest, according to CNN, said when she texted Spoda from the hospital asking what was happening and what she was given, the bride responded, ugh, we have no idea.
Yeah, now because shit's hitting the fan, she's pretending.
CNN, citing court records, reported that both Svoboda and Bryant have bonded out of Seminole County Jail and will be arraigned in June. According to Tampa-based Samis law firm, Florida's Anti-Tampering Act covers tampering food with as well as tampering with certain types of drugs, devices, or cosmetics. The law firm says that the statute is not used all that often, in part because the statutory language is poorly written and fails to track federal food anti-tampering law, and that the terms used in Florida's anti-tampering statute are extremely vague, leading to constitutional challenges by criminal defense attorneys.
Local law enforcement officers will investigate any such allegation and take swift action. These crimes can be charged as a third-degree, second-degree, or first-degree felony depending on how the tampering occurred and the harm caused, the firm explains. Many of these crimes are committed by juveniles because of the often impulsive nature of the offense. No, this was a full-grown 42-year-old woman at her freaking wedding. She just drugged all her friends and family.
Maybe I feel like she might have thought like, ooh, this is going to be fun. And then it was like a nightmare.
She obviously does not know how cannabis works.
I mean,
because it's not for everyone. And to give it to them without them knowing that's just wrong.
I'm not going to lie. I was trying to see if she followed us.
The story underscores the dangers of serving cannabis-infused food to unwitting individuals. A man in South Dakota was sentenced to 60 days in jail last month after his mother unknowingly served the cannabis-laced brownies to the senior citizens. Remember, we read that story. Yeah. The man lost his job as a music teacher in a local school district over the incident. This guy.
It was him.
And was also ordered to pay $34,000 in court fees and serve 2 years worth of probation.
Oh my God.
Because his mom took his brownies.
Jesus Christ.
That's so fucked up.
You gotta be so damn careful.
I'm really sorry this impacted so many in the community. I'm so sorry for that, he said as his sentencing, as quoted by the Associated Press. So many people got sick and that wasn't my intention for that to happen.
Of course.
Wow. That's bananas. I can't believe that we didn't see that was the outcome of that.
Yeah.
The guy with the brownies and his mom. We got to follow and see what the outcome of this ends up being.
Yeah, not good. Looks like not very good where it's going.
That's a different state. So that was South Dakota. This is Florida.
Yeah.
We'll see. I hope if anybody gets in trouble, it's the bride and not the caterer. Because I don't know if the caterer knew that the people eating didn't know,
Yeah.
She's just taking an order and doing what was asked. And hopefully the caterer knew what she was doing, because dosing food is not an easy, you got to do it right. You can't overdose. You could really make people sick.
Yeah. We
have an infusion specialist.
I know, right? Exactly.
For our dinner party.
First off, we have an infusion specialist, and y'all know what you're getting into. If you bought tickets,
it was quite clear it's an infused dinner.
I mean, obviously, we're gonna provide the dosage, and it's gonna be mixed with CBD for a nice balance. Experience. But we are giving people the option of skipping a dose or skipping a course if they're not, if they think, hey, that's a little too much. So, but here, people are not giving any option whatsoever. So that, it's absolutely wrong. Can you imagine
you went for first, seconds, or thirds? Who knows? Was it a buffet? Was it plated?
So many questions we have, which we wish we knew we had the answers to.
What was it that was laced? Was it all the food had a little bit of cannabis in it? Was it only certain things?
Right. So many questions. We'll follow up for sure. I really want to know. That's why I was like, can you stop? Can we just take a picture of what was in question? I want to see all the food that was at her wedding. So this next interview was really fun. We spoke to Jennifer Boyce. She's the education and training manager over at Cannawise. She's been an advocate for years, especially after her reproductive health issues, which she talks to us about. And she also was telling us her mom was also a cannabis consuming parent. So really had a great conversation with her. We hope you enjoy.
Absolutely. So Cannawise Medicine is a provider's office. So in Massachusetts, you have to see a provider to get your certification. And that's what we do, help people get their cannabis certifications for medical program. We work within the community a lot. We'll work with their prices. So if people can't afford it, if people are on hospice, we do discounted certifications. We do free certifications for end of life care, and we do free continuing education for all of our patients. And that's where I come in handy, because I have worked in Western medicine the majority of my life. I was a 911 dispatcher, EMT, and I got health conditions and I couldn't use cannabis. So I was on gabapentin and amitriptyline. Finally decided to leave my career, start using cannabis as medicine, and my own provider stole me to come work for the company, and it's very happy that she did.
That's great. And so you didn't smoke for a while there, did you? What was your first time smoking? Like, did you stop for a while? How was that?
I stopped for a while. My first time smoking, everyone loves this story. I learned cannabis was medicine from my mom. My mom came from Sweden when she was 16 years old. And in Sweden, we're very more so about holistic healthcare, just drink some ginger and some lime and it'll make that cold go away. So I was struggling severely with PMDD and endometriosis at 13.
Yeah.
And nothing worked for me. I didn't feel comfortable on the narcotics because I was 13 and couldn't go to school on them. And I didn't eat for about a week. My mom came out with a packed bowl and said, "Do you know how to use this?" I swear to God, I thought this was a trick question. I thought if I said yes, I was going to get grounded. And I said, nope, never did it. She took a massive rip in front of me, handed it to me and said, "Well, you're going to learn." After 2 bowls, I was able to eat 3 bowls of macaroni and cheese. It was the first time I ate in 7 days.
Wow.
So I was raised to believe it was medicine, but choosing a career in public safety, I had to give it up because firefighters, EMTs, 911 dispatchers were not allowed to consume.
Yeah.
Sadly.
So you came into this from the start as a patient, as seeing it as medicine from a very young age. Wow.
Yeah.
You also mentioned having a PCOS. We've been hearing a lot more about that. A lot more women have been coming out with their stories about having PCOS. Does cannabis help with that as well?
Significantly. It doesn't necessarily, as I tell all of my patients, it doesn't make our disease go away, but a lot of the chemical constituents that you find in cannabis are great for symptomatic relief of things that women have to deal with consistently. You have analgesic properties and muscle relaxers in cannabis that can help us with cramps, help us with our nausea, even help us with mood swings. And it's a much more natural form of Midol, in my opinion.
Yeah, to mitigate the symptoms, basically.
And especially with my PCOS, whenever I had a cyst rupture, of course, the first thing the doctors want to give you is morphine and tramadol and whatever it is to make you comfortable. But unfortunately, as we know, that's how addicts in the chronic pain industry, especially women who deal with chronic pain, wind up becoming addicted to these substances. So for me, cannabis is major for even recovery from a cyst rupture. Topicals can be great to massage into like your lower abdomen, your pelvic area. Not to mention, we finally started getting product over here on the East Coast. I don't know if you guys have it in Florida yet, but in Massachusetts, we started getting lubricants and mucosal products for the female vagina, making it more comfortable and less muscle reactive, which is great for people with PCOS, endometriosis, and pelvic myalgia.
And that's available in like your medical dispensaries?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we have a couple of companies. We have a couple of companies. There's a few that do like pleasure lubes. There's some that do just moisturizing balms. I know there's a lot of CBD companies out there that are doing them online because cannabis has cannabigerol in it, which is a natural antifungal, antibacterial. And us women, we're petri dishes. We have a lot more bacteria than the male body, and we don't necessarily know how to regulate that. And even sneezing the wrong way can throw our entire body off. So they actually done studies in the UK. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they found that women that use cannabis are least likely to have things like bacterial vaginosis and recurrent yeast infections.
Interesting.
It makes sense. I mean, cannabis is all about like the ECS is all about homeostasis, basically keeping us balanced. So it would make sense that it helps with that as well.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So how long have you been actually working in the cannabis industry? Because you said you started as a patient and started working with your provider. So how long have you been?
A little over a year, actually. I'm still a newbie into the industry. I've been an activist my whole life, I will say. Like I said, since my mom taught me what it did. As an early teen, I pushed for it to be decriminalized in Massachusetts and then become legalized for med program and then recreational use. So if you told that same 13-year-old girl who illegally smoked a bowl with her mom that night that she'd be working in the industry, she would have laughed in your face. That's not a thing.
Yeah, we felt like that too. We're like, what are we? Are we really have a podcast about weed? Okay.
It's been so taboo for so long, and now like you tell people that you work in the industry and all of a sudden you have this respect, and it's great, especially for women in the industry, because there's still not a lot of us out there yet.
And how does your mom feel about you actually being involved in the industry now?
She is the proudest mama I have ever seen. My whole family is the fact that I work in holistic healthcare and found a way, because I've always been the caretaker in my family. Growing up in an immigrant family, it's just something that you're taught to do. You just get up, you take care of all of your elders, you come last, you need to make sure they have everything. If they ask you for something, you don't ask questions, you just get up and do it. And they worked so hard to come here for me to succeed and to see this success in the cannabis industry. They're more than thrilled.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I also wanted to ask you about, so you said you deal with infertility and you're healing from that. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, when did you find out? Because I know there's a lot of women out there too who struggle with that, and I feel like that's very important. It's still it's kind of taboo a little bit as well to talk about that.
It is. A lot of women still feel so afraid to talk about it. And as a woman that's gone through it, you get this sense of not feeling like you're a female because you can't do what you were meant to do. So women get really ashamed about talking about it. But the funny thing is once I started opening up and started talking about it with people, I had more women come to me going, oh my God, I thought I was crazy. I thought like I was allergic to this product. And I thought that I was only having a hard time. And I thought I was only too stressed to get pregnant. And it really shows that us as women need to have these conversations with each other to support each other in it, because unfortunately, there's so much from our previous generations of you keep this hush hush, and women suffer in silence about it. And I did for many years. It was shameful because all of my friends were getting pregnant, and I had like family and friends that never wanted kids that were like, surprise, I have them. And it just got really, really hard. And I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to rain on anyone else's parade, only to realize that I was dragging myself in the dirt. And now I'm not so shy about talking about it. I talk about it at work. I talk about it with my patients, and I kind of wear it as a badge of honor now, because I knew at 14, I probably wasn't going to have kids. So at 14 years old, I started making decisions that women don't start making until their late 20s. I started going on hormone treatments. I put myself in medically induced menopause twice to freeze my system in attempts to one day, if I were to get married, have one. Got married. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, getting pregnant or the marriage. Wound up divorced and met my now partner, who gave me his kid pretty much. And now I have the fun fact of being an infertile stepmom, which was not a journey I was prepared for at all.
Yeah, that must be hard too. How do you handle that? How do you educate your is it a stepson? I'm sorry, your stepdaughter. How do you does she know about your cannabis use, and how do you talk to her about it?
Doesn't know about cannabis use. She knows about medicine use. She knows the cannabis leaf as a medicine leaf or a hemp leaf. She's gone to my office multiple times if we haven't been able to like have a sitter for her or anything, and she's never asked questions about it because it looks like your standard doctor's office, just with a lot more green plants on the wall. And I'm very specific about the product that I have. In Massachusetts, they're very strict about keeping it away from minors. And minors in Massachusetts is anybody under the age of 21. So I actually have a room downstairs in my basement. That's my laundry room. And we also joke and call it my dungeon. Because in my off hours of momming and cannabis education, I am a DM for a Dungeons and Dragons community.
Awesome.
And I normally host my sessions down there. But what I like about that room is there's a keypadded lock on the door, so you can't go in unless you know the code, and that is where I can safely consume. I have ventilation. I have a mini fridge for all my edibles, seltzers, any of my concentrates that need to be kept that way. Got a little gas heater, TV. I could probably live down there if I needed to.
I want a smoke dungeon. Smoke dungeon sounds awesome.
It's very needed, especially one of the things that they teach parents in blended families is you should always have a space of your own if you're not the parent that has kids. So you always can kind of put yourself in that parent role and put yourself back in that family mode, because I'm very much a career woman. I am work, work, work. My parents, my grandparents, work, work, work. And then all of a sudden there was a kid that wanted all of my attention and I had no idea how to give her any of it. It's been a learning curve and I love it. But when I need a break, that smoke dungeon is life-saving.
Smoke dungeon. How old was your stepdaughter when you came into her life? Like
9.
9?
Yep. And she's going to be 11 this year. So
that's awesome.
It's been a little bit. She's gone through a lot over the past year. Both of her parents moved in with their significant others in new homes, and she's taking it like a tough cookie. I'm so proud of her. She's, learning she can't hide things from one house to the other, because me and her mom actually have a really good relationship that I'm so proud of. And she'll always get mad. Oh, I forget that you talk to mom. I can't let that slide.
That's so awesome when adults can co-parent like that and come together, because I grew up in a divorced family and I went between my mom's house and my dad's house, and it was not fun having parents that did not get along and did not speak to each other, and a lot of putting the kid in the middle, and then it's really awkward. So I feel like nowadays it's more common to see adult parenting like that, where they can just put aside all that and be good co-parents.
It makes sense, because a lot of like our generation had, like you said, split parents. Like my mom and my dad divorced when I was young, and there was a lot of me going back and forth or staying at my grandparents because neither could have the time off of work to take care of me at the time. Like it was always, when you're a kid of separated households, you feel like you always live in a suitcase.
Yeah.
And you're right. When you have the ability to talk to the other family, you're not living out of a suitcase. You just have one giant tribe that's trying to raise you. But I think it's because we dealt with it that we're like, hey, we don't want our kids to feel like we did.
Exactly. I think that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
What's your favorite way to consume?
I'm old school. I love flower.
I mean, that's the best way.
Yeah, us too.
Really. It really is. I mean, that's how you get full spectrum. It really is. It's the best way. You get a quicker onset. You get the full spectrum. You have your terpenes, your cannabinoids. You get everything. Not to mention, it's just really relaxing to come home and smoke a joint after a long day.
Yes. It is.
It's more consistent too. I like edibles, but I feel like it's not consistent. You don't really know when.
No, you don't know. The problem with consumption methods is like one of the things that we say in the industry in Massachusetts is everybody and every body is different. So depending on how you metabolize or someone else metabolizes or what you've eaten versus what you haven't eaten depends on how edibles hit you. And that's why I've never been a fan of them unless they taste really good. Because then it's just a double indulgence, in my opinion. But no, flowers I still love the fact that flower in my generation was just taught to be so taboo. You got caught with that on you and it was a big no-no. And now it's like you can turn to your partner, you can turn to your friends, be like, do you see how purple this is? Do you see how sparkly this is? Do you see the orange hairs? And you can actually have more of an educated conversation about it now.
And look at the trichromes on this one.
Exactly. The smell profile smells nothing like what it tastes. You smell the citrus, but when you smoke it, you taste the pepper. That's the humulene and the limonene that's hiding on you.
I recently got a strain that I couldn't smoke it. I didn't like the smell. I didn't like how it smelled. I was just like, I don't want this. This is terrible.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
And that's when you know it's not for you.
right. Because I passed it on to someone else and was like, because sometimes I'm like, is it just me or is this? And then somebody else was like, yeah, I don't like it. And then I gave it to someone else. I was like, try this. Does this seem right? And they were like, it's fine. I like it.
Yeah.
It's doing what it's supposed to do. And I'm like, okay.
Yo,
you gotta really depend on your nose, different. I would say. And your instinct.
Nose.
It does.
Can you tell us a little bit about getting your medical card? Oh, were you going to say something?
I was going to say that's how I feel about like pinene. Pinene and I don't get along. It causes me to get very anxious. So if I smell something that smells like a Christmas tree, I already know I'm going to have a bad time. So why bother?
Gotcha.
That's why it's so good to be able to know what you're consuming, because then you can you learn these things about what strains work for you and what don't once you start learning more about the terpene profiles and the effects that you feel off of those different profiles. So that's why I'm so excited that finally we got medical in Florida. We're going to slowly get recreational and we'll get more education like that.
The more education you get, the better you have to break the stigma. It's still because people don't know. I went to NECAN, which is the New England Cannabis Convention, a couple weekends ago, and they were able to talk about a study that happened decades ago, back during the Schaefer Commission, that said that pot killed brain cells. Well, now that all of that research has been made knowledgeable, they found out that it wasn't the pot that killed the monkeys' brain cells. It was the fact that these monkeys had almost 30 joints worth of smoke pumped into their face masks and they smothered themselves.
Oh my God.
So yes, they did lose oxygen to the brain, but it wasn't because of the pot. It was because they couldn't get a fresh breath of air. And I don't know any stoner out there that's sitting there puffing 30 joints in a row.
Yeah, we can't even hotbox anymore. We were trying to do a TikTok and we were smoking joints in a car and we were like, I can't even do this. This is not.
No. Yeah, I don't know how anybody could do the gas mask thing. I'm like, no thanks. I can just take a rip off a bong. That's as good as
right.
I'll take it.
Some of the stuff that's coming out there now, it's like, okay, now I know I'm over 30 and that's not cool.
Yeah, but because some people like to, because everybody loves extra stuff. They like all the extra stuff. So people do overconsume. That's, viral video of someone smoking a big ass bowl out of a leaf blower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unnecessary. What a waste of weed. It's so unnecessary that they do that. But
it's a horrible waste. Your body can only absorb so much. It's a bell curve. Believe it or not, less is more.
Yeah. It's a waste. I get so mad sometimes. I had to unfollow those big accounts that do those videos because I'm just like, it's such a waste. I would just be in the comments going, you guys are wasting it. Yeah. And I'd just be so upset. I'm like, I can't follow you guys anymore. All you do is waste perfectly good weed.
right? Like I could have used that.
Exactly. I think back of like the way we would overconsume as youngins. Like when I first got into cannabis, 18, 19 years old with my friends, and we're like, this is the best plant ever. Like for 420, we're like, we're going to each buy a 20, which was like, what, a gram, which is a lot of weed, and smoke a whole blunt to the face, not sharing it. We each have our individual blunts and go to the movies just to pass out because we oversmoke.
Because you over. No, it's very true. A lot of people don't realize that. And one of the things that we actually end up teaching to our patients, especially when it comes to overconsumption, is you can actually overdose on cannabis. You cannot die. That's the best thing about it. But you can take too much that it messes with like your blood pressure. A lot of people will take a lot in and then stand up and feel really lightheaded, really dizzy, and pass out. That is a sign of you probably took more than your body could consume. Take some CBD to level that out, take a hot shower, and take a really long nap.
Yeah, a nap, CBD and nap for sure.
CBD and nap. That's all
I feel like
need.
when people get too hot, too heavy into the dabs, like the dabbing, I think that's where you get dangerous with overconsumption. Like, and especially if you're like, oh, eating a lot of edibles and then doing dabs and all that, you're oversaturating your ECS with too much.
Well, that's how doctors were able to find That's how doctors were able to find cannabis hypermesis syndrome, which is people that take an excessive amount of concentrates are actually destroying their bodies with too much cannabis, causing them to have something similar to like hypermesis syndrome in pregnancy, where you can't keep food or water down. You consistently feel like you have a rock in your stomach. And the only way to make it go away is to stop consuming. And it could come back if you ever try to consume again. More in moderation. That's really why we try to teach people, is more in moderation. Don't ruin it for yourself.
Responsible use for sure.
Yes.
Plus,
So
we
how
got
do you
shit
get a
to
car?
do. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't got time to be all.
We're moms. And this is
stoned
just
out.
the stress relief and like, getting us through the day.
That's what's going to put me to bed. That's what's going to give me patience.
Right. I ain't got time to just be zoned out and stoned out. Like, I take it to give me patience and just to kind of balance myself. Sometimes, the day is so hard, it's, not enough, but not enough. And you go to sleep and
I can deal with Disney movies better when I'm medicated. I could listen to We Don't Talk About Bruno 15 times as long as I am medicated.
I love that movie.
I love that movie too. It's the cocoa melon. I need to smoke extra bowls.
I'm lucky in the sense that my son is not like that. Like, he doesn't want to watch the movies all the time. He's more like wants a game with his dad. So, but he when we do want to sit down and watch a movie, he's like, let's watch that one again. Yeah, that sounds good.
It's comforting, I think, too. Yeah.
It's like us. We binge watch our favorite TV shows to fall asleep to. Like, I mean, half of America watches The Office over 100 times in their life, I swear.
Oh my God. I just saw a thing where Kevin from The Office was talking about how every day on set before they would film, they would have to get into character by working for
by
30
doing
minutes.
Medial office work.
Right. Yeah. Just acting.
Yeah, they would
like
have to be on set and just pretend they're like doing office work. They're either typing emails or
I read
making
that
copies.
They were allowed to like pay their own bills and stuff on the computer.
That's funny.
Wow, that's funny. That is funny.
I didn't know that. Yeah. But I saw that video and was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. I mean, it makes sense, like a little improv game for them to kind of get into
and then they use clips of that for the actual like intro and stuff in the show sometimes. So
yeah, they're so funny. Like, I could imagine that there might have been some moments where they got some really funny like ad libs and like improvised moments and stuff too.
Oh, I'm sure there were tons of things that happened in that show that were completely unscripted.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you get your medical card in Massachusetts? I never say that.
Is it just
right?
is
In
it
Mass?
just medical?
Okay.
Mass. Just say Mass.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Is it just medical there?
No, we have medical and recreational. Recreational, of course, like does come with taxes and adult use only. So anybody over the age of 21 can go into a recreational dispensary. Even if you aren't from the state, as long as your driver's license says that you're over 21, you can purchase at one of their dispensaries. The medical side, however, you have to be a mass med patient. They don't do state can never say this word right.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
That's another word. That's another word.
That word does not work.
I thought that was a fake word when I said. I was like, "What is that? What are they saying? What is that? What is that?" Reciprocity. Yeah.
Like reciprocate.
I've heard it so many times. Yes.
Reciprocity.
So we can go to certain states. Like I know I can go to Maine with my med card. I can go to Rhode Island with my med card and go into their med dispensaries, but they can't come into our med dispensaries. But on the med side, it is pretty simple. You do have to meet with a doctor every year to make sure that you are still eligible, because some people could lose their eligibility by either not using the program responsibly or in cases of it harming the patient. So for example, if you have like COPD and we give you your med card so you can buy THC CBD gummies to go to sleep, and all of a sudden we notice that you're smoking an eighth a day, well, that's not necessarily recommended for you. So we would re-educate that patient. The only time I really see doctors have issues with medical patients being medical patients are those that have history of psychosis, because cannabis has been proven in the past year that it can increase the use of increase the cause of psychosis in certain mental health conditions. But getting a card is, we call it like a 3-step process. You call and you first start speaking with a patient educator. So we do the boring stuff of, here's all of the laws that you have to make sure you pay attention to, here's all of your rules and regulations. And then they figure out if they need further education as a patient, if they've been medicating pretty well on their own. If they feel like they need pharmaceutical replacement, then they would talk to someone like me. And we would talk about, okay, so you want to get off of gabapentin. Well, the closest dispensary to you has these types of products. You don't want to combust. You want to only eat or use tinctures. These are the best products for you. Start here and talk to your doctor about weaning off of that medication. Because we really do care about our patients having control of their journey. And once we educate them with as much as they can handle, sometimes we over-educate, then they talk to the medical provider, who goes over just to make sure that medically they are safe to consume, that there are no issues that cannabis consumption could cause. For example, people taking blood thinners. Blood thinners in CBD and THC don't get along because they are vasodilators. So you do bruise more and bleed out quicker. They do most of the medical education. As long as they find that you're certified, then one of our advocates registers you with the state and you're good to go right at the end of your appointment, which is great because then you don't have to pay taxes anymore, which is
great.
Is it that bad? How much are the taxes out there for that?
Yeah, on rec, how much is it bad?
It ranges per municipality, because the Cannabis Control Commission allowed each town to make their own regulations as well.
Yeah.
So there are some that are at 20%, there are some at 23%, there's some at 25%, there's some that pay the taxes off of their total gross income, or they make that 3% tax they have to pay to the Commonwealth, they add that to the recreational consumers. So there's definitely a lot of taxes.
Wow.
They don't call us Taxachusetts for no reason.
I didn't even know that.
Now, is there like in the state of Florida, there's like a list of certain qualifying conditions that you can have that qualify you for cannabis there. is there a list like that there, or is it as long as your physician thinks for it could be anything that your physician feels, cannabis would help with, or do you have to meet like certain specific conditions?
There are certain specific conditions. There are certain like diagnostics that you have to have. However, if one of those diagnostics, for example, you could use pharmaceuticals, but because of a past addiction or an allergy, you can use cannabis as a substitute for that pharmaceutical. And then the provider would then re-educate you on that. And as long as your primary care physician and your cannabis provider agreed, then they would certify.
And all the providers, like the doctors giving these recommendations, they have to have like a certain certification or licensing in order to do it, or any physician in the state could do it?
In Massachusetts, you have to be at least a nurse practitioner or higher, and you have to take a cannabis as medicine course and a controlled substances course as well. So there is a little bit extra, because we do have a lot of nurses that would love to be cannabis doctors, but they do have to take a couple of additional courses to do so.
That's great.
So how soon did you guys become recreational? That was pretty, like, it hasn't been that long since you guys, right?
My goodness, 2 years maybe?
2, yeah.
I feel like it was
no, I'd honestly say 3, because I forget 2020 doesn't count as a year. But so technically 3, because rec was not open for half of it. Started to open right before 2020, and then when the pandemic hit, they shut down recreational use but kept medical use open, and then halfway through the pandemic reopened the recreational side.
Oh my god, poor rec users in the middle of a pandemic when they need it the most.
Yep. There were a lot of people that became medical patients at that point, and
they were forced.
One of the good things that came from that was because there was an increase in diagnostics for depression, anxiety, PTSD, and insomnia, Massachusetts allowed those conditions to be put on the diagnostic list for cannabis medicine.
Oh,
so you can now use it in Massachusetts for mental health, where a lot of other states don't allow you to use it for mental health.
Yeah, for here it's only for PTSD.
Yep.
That's like
which is
mental health.
Which is really frustrating, because like, especially think about in women, 1 out of 5 women have depression and anxiety. 1 out of 4 women have insomnia. That means 2 out of 5 of us would benefit from cannabis as medicine, but these conditions don't qualify in most medical states.
They just need to free the plant.
Agreed.
Get over this stigma. It's not a big freaking deal. It's a plant.
Yo, what happened to the MORE Act? They were supposed to sit on it this week. Like, it's so wishy-washy.
I haven't seen anything about it. I have been meaning to check up before we record on our base. Did it not happen?
Yeah,
it didn't happen.
Every article we read is like, oh, next week, and we just like, okay.
They keep pushing it.
It's been next week.
Yeah. They need to get with the program, because everybody's like,
and I will say, like, especially when it comes with recreational, every dispensary in Massachusetts is required to do some type of like impact payment for the community that they are functioning in. And take Worcester, for example. That's where our company is out of Auburn, which is right next door, and I live in Worcester. We have 14 dispensaries within our city limits. Yes. And since we've had dispensaries open, we've had our crime rate drop. We've had our city get cleaned up. We had the introduction of Polar Park. So it's a lot of these places, I'm hoping, will start to realize, oh, hey, we should allow recreational use, because all of those potholes we've complaining about, we can fix them instantly.
We suddenly got the money for that. Got the money for a lot more things. Maybe that's why Marco Island is changing their tune.
I could not believe that. We had a place here in Florida that we had done a story on a long time ago, where they were like, oh, we're going to just ban it. Like, we don't care that it's not even legal. We're just going to
They're banning, like, if it becomes recreationally legal, and it's not even recreationally legal here yet.
Right.
If it does, it won't be here in Marco
Right.
Island.
Like, it's bad.
Not in our city.
Right.
Not
Period.
here. And we're like,
And
it's
then-
not even recreational yet. Why are you making laws about that?
Well, apparently they changed their mind because they just opened up a Move dispensary out there in Marco
A medical
Island.
one, yeah. So
What are the top dispensaries out there? What are the biggest dispensaries you guys got out there?
Let's see. I would say so in like the Worcester area, a lot of people are familiar with the Botanist. And a lot of people are familiar with Curaleaf. I will say, because I did see on your guys' page, we did get our very first True Leaf within the Worcester city limits, but they're rec only. I'm mad at them about that, so I don't want to pay taxes.
are you seriously the rec
out there?
Yes.
That's bananas.
They are a Florida-based company, yes, but they are allowed to open up a recreational dispensary here in Massachusetts.
I don't know.
No, but I mean, like, they're only doing rec. They're not doing
Only doing
medical.
rec.
That's really odd. Because here they're only medical, obviously, because we don't have rec.
No, I think the best way that I can explain it is since Massachusetts has allowed recreational establishments to opening up a medical establishment turned into like, you're still jumping through hoops, but now you're jumping through flaming hoops with sharks.
Right.
To get a medical, because medical, you're not paying taxes.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot more recreational dispensaries open up first because it's easier to get your recreational provisional license than your medical.
Wow. Interesting. Make us pay more for our medicine.
Yep.
Yeah, but
hey, next thing you know, we're gonna have tax on
sense.
Prozac.
They should. They should have that shit on Cialis and all the wiener erection pills.
Right?
Seriously. Fucking, they'll make those free before they give us tax-free tampons. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need more ladies running this place, running this town.
Agreed. And like I said, unfortunately, no matter what state you go to in the cannabis industry, there's not a lot of women. And I find myself very lucky because the company that I work for, Cannawise, was started by and still owned by a woman, and she employs a lot of women. We do have a couple of men, but we joke and tell them that they're honorary females because they work with us. But it's really nice to see, because once I start going out to events and stuff like that, it's a man's world out there. It's a lot of me having to market to a 45-year-old man, and
you know what?
It's awkward sometimes.
I bet, but I feel like there is a lot of women who love cannabis.
So
many of us.
So many. And what a lot of people don't realize is cannabis is female. We smoke the female part of the plant, ladies. Like,
we
exactly.
Yeah, for real. We should run this down.
we should be running the world.
Women should run the world. I second that wholeheartedly.
For real.
That was Jennifer Boyce with Cannawise. You can find them at cannacolab.org, cannawisemd.org. Jennifer is at Cupcake Genocide on Instagram, and also at Cannawise Medicine. So find them there. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast, interacting with us online. We love hearing from you, and we definitely love all the time we share with our patrons, like Yanni.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Destiny.
Lauren.
Jesse.
Christy.
April.
Shelby.
Denise.
Peaches.
Natalie.
Meredith.
Terry.
Angelina.
Jenny.
Catherine.
Camilla.
Amanda.
Jessica.
And we got...
we already said that last week. Sorry,
oh, we did?
Fix it.
So Josie and
Jessica C.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being
spaced
patrons.
out for a second there. I was like...
Hey guys, you too could become a patron. You get early access to episodes, additional content, video, and full uncut versions of our interviews, Zoom sessions, smoke sessions. We get
lots
trips,
of things.
Events, discounts on events. Hey, become a patron today or subscribe, review, rate our content. Pot smoking moms.
Bye.
Alaya.